we're 5 minutes past, so I'm happy to get things going. Cindy was and Rachel put together a great agenda for us. So I don't know, does anybody have sort of like general things to share, or everybody knows each other, right? We don't need to do introductions. We're all good. Okay, great. Oh, here's Melvette. Great. Hi, Melvette.
Golf is not the thing.
Oh, okay.
Swing and a miss.
Hmm.
Golf.
Rachel, do you want to drive? Do you want me to drive? How are we doing this?
I put the agenda in the chat, but I
Yeah.
think a couple of folks joined that. You need me to pop it in again?
I
Sure.
think if you, yeah, I was saying in the chat. Oh, there we go.
Oh, I printed mine. So let's get started. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah. Um, so I think the first things on the agenda are our local affiliate and local committee gatherings that are happening regionally around the state, kind of in conjunction with the councils of governments, is my understanding. So there is a link in the agenda to these that are coming up uh, in March, basically. It looks like there are 7 happening over the course of the first couple of weeks of next month. Do you want us to sign up for these in the ones that are convenient to our region, Cindy and Rachel?
I think you're more than welcome to.
Mhm.
We are really seeing this as an opportunity to encourage collaboration among organizations and municipalities and kind of encouraging. So that is why we went with using the COGS to kind of organize it regionally. It gave us a smaller geographic footprint than we normally use for this type of gathering, but the hope is really that they will get to know each other during these couple of hours and think about ways that they might collaborate on programming, because I think there's some regions are working closely together and some are a little less united. So all that to say, folks are welcome to join in, particularly if you have ideas for how they can work together. I think the hope is to kind of start the meeting off with a bit of an icebreaker, introductions, and going back to our one word for how you wish to feel after the 250th, collect a round of answers for this opportunity, and then kind of have some time to break out into groups. I'm taking a look at the registration form. We only have 22 people signed up for now. But almost all of we had a question in there for what people would like to discuss. And a lot of people are looking to discuss either their programming or their marketing. So we might organize the agenda just around those topics. And most of the people who will be joining us have already heard our spiel about what the commission is doing, what our resources are for them, and things like that. So I don't think it's going to be an information session as much as it's just that opportunity to work together. So I think it'll be really exciting conversations to listen in on. I'm hoping um it'll be a little bit of a, I don't know, reinvigoration. Um, I think locally is where this is most exciting, so I'm hoping that um yeah, that it's a feel-good moment. Um
Is there assistance that you folks need in sort of getting the word out about these? I mean, I know they're basically meant for existing affiliates and municipal contacts. But is there support around publicity that members of the commission can provide, or anything else that's kind of an ask for us in terms of what we should be contributing to these?
Yeah, I really think in terms of getting the word out, that would be helpful. We've sent it in um, our like newsletters to affiliate organizations and municipal organizations, but those newsletters are dense. So I think reminders to folks that these are happening and should be a fun opportunity to work with one another would be really helpful. And I'll say a good number of cultural organizations around the state are participating. So I think there's a lot of overlap with our audiences, and same with, I know a lot of libraries are doing programming and involved as affiliates. So,
Good, excellent. Does anyone else have other questions or things to share? I mean, it sounds like you've got the agenda set for these, and they're really intended to promote that networking and collaboration and partnership sort of regionally within the state, so that people have that opportunity to work together. Anybody else have anything? I'll see if I can go to the one in Old Saybrook, maybe. I don't know.
Amherst, I think I'm gonna, and Cindy and team, if you guys are amenable to this, I think I'll maybe circulate the list of regional gatherings to people on our team and see if there's any interest in having folks from OTG attend.
Yeah.
I can definitely go to the March 4th one. And I'll see if the other people on our team have some availability to attend.
Yeah.
I know folks will be excited to share with any members of the commission that are there. Well, members of the commission designees, government organizations. I think people are really excited to share what they've been working on because they have been working, some of them for almost as long as the commission has been around. So I know there's a lot of excitement out there. And I hope that we'll be as excited as they are about the work they're doing, which we are.
Yeah. No, I do, like, as I said at the full commission meeting, I mean, I do feel like there's like an energy now that it's 2026, even though there's all kinds of insanity in the world. When I saw the calendar listings and the stuff coming out, and we get emails from historical societies and museums all over the state, and so my inbox, as soon as it became January, was just filled with 250th stuff. So there's something there, and I think it'll be great to bring people together at this moment early in the year to really exchange those ideas and support each other, because I think that's what we all need.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments about this before we move on to the next item? Hey, Jason. Bye, Jason. Looks like a cozy sweater. Okay, it looks like we have an update on our next 250 webinar. Should I hand things over to Merle to talk a little bit about that, since it looks like this is in collaboration with Everyday Democracy? Yes.
I'm laughing because I said to my colleague, I was like, they're going to ask me questions.
I can put someone else on the spot.
Well, I'm happy to fill in the blanks here, but essentially, we're working on a project called Our Next 250th, in which we are trying to engage people, 250 people in 250 conversations, 10 people the idea is that we're looking to engage as many people as possible in a civic imaginatory process. What is the world that you wish to create? We know what is, but what could be? And that futurism really is the promise, I think, of democracy. that we're constantly reinventing and reimagining it. So that's what that work is. And there's a toolkit that will be made available with support training and a community of folks to be able to support the hosting of those events. And I believe there's a webinar later on, right? About
Yeah, so it's tomorrow.
tomorrow. Yes. Well, see, that's when the genius that Chandonnet will come in and explain it all to you, as it should be. But we're really excited about this opportunity. I guess I should give you a little bit more detail. It's partnerships, right? The toolkit can be used with community leaders, libraries, any kind of institution where people are looking to host imaginative and inclusive civic gatherings. The product, the tool will work for a variety of hosts with different experiences. It's adaptable. It should be joyful. And we encourage folks to share a meal or snacks while they're having these conversations. And what the kinds of things that we're looking to support our host is to be able to provide support and coaching and feedback and ideas, and we have a page on our website that people can go to, but that it's going to largely take place in what they call the civic season. We'll be in Rhode Island specifically for this civic season in-person gathering, but the idea is that these conversations occur between Juneteenth or June 19th and July 4th, where we are literally juxtaposing the Emancipation Proclamation and this Declaration of Independence, right? They're sitting as bookends of the civic season and an opportunity for deep, thoughtful conversation about who we were, who we are, where we want to go, and who we want to be. So I'll stop there.
Wonderful. Is the webinar going to be recorded and up on the commission page or? Okay, wonderful, because I have a conflict, but I would love to check it out. Merle, the league conference theme this year is the next 250 museums in the
Are you
future of
serious?
democracy. So I'm going to send you the call for session proposals. Our conference is on June 1st. Be great to have you put in for a session to talk about this project with Everyday Democracy and the toolkit, get it out to kind of the museum field here in Connecticut. So I'll send you.
I love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
June 1st it is?
Yeah, at CCSU.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Was there anything, Rachel and Cindy, that you wanted to add about the webinar?
Just again, if folks want to share it out, we're excited. Chandonnet has been great to work with, and I think it's an exciting program and a great way to make sure that we're keeping civics in the 250th. This feels like a very tangible way that organizations can embrace this. I think there have been a lot of big ideas around it, but this will make it easy for people to engage. And I think people need it to be easy to read. So we really appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that and seeing that. Cindy, because I do really believe that democracy is something you do. It's something you practice. It's something you exercise, like leadership. Leadership is not something you have, it's something you exercise. So this democracy is not evergreen. You got to nurture it.
Amen. Any questions or comments for Merle and Everyday Democracy and Rachel and Cindy? Anything else? I'll get this out on, so I'll have John get this out on our social media. I know it's like coming up like tomorrow, but great to
We'll
have
find
that.
out their stuff at the last minute. So
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Everything is, I'm familiar with doing everything at the last minute, especially around programs. I think we all live in that space, right?
But we will, we will be recording it and we'll be sharing that recording and encouraging folks to reach out to Chandana and your team, so.
Just so
and I
you
have
know,
all-
there's a little hint about a rebrand in this content. Somewhere in there, there's some little Easter eggs, but a rebrand is coming. So
It looks great.
I have Amherst, I have a graphic that I can send to you if anybody else wants that too. If you think
Perfect.
you might
Send
want
it
share
to me and, well, you can send it to our team here, the subcommittee certainly, I would imagine. But if you send it to me and also to info@clho.org, it'll go to John and then he'll have all the assets that he needs to get it out on social media. I leave the social media to him. All right, the next item on our agenda is returning to our outreach plan, kind of the main work that we've been doing on this subcommittee to really ensure that the affiliate program and also the local commissions are fleshed out and, you know, complete and inclusive and having, you know, the kind of wide reach that we really want to have. So judging by the agenda, I'm thinking it might be good to look at the list of affiliates together and address this question that Cindy and Rachel have proposed to us, which is who's missing? Would you like me to share my screen or do you guys have it up and want to go through it with us?
got like 4 windows going. Are you able to show?
This- this document largely has names and email addresses. Is that it? Or is there some additional information? Am I missing?
So this is the affiliate listing and it should just be, organization names and cities.
The local, she's probably on the local committees one.
Ah,
I'm
Which is-
on the municipality.
Yeah, we'll
contact
get
list.
to that next.
That's not this one.
That's
Okay, my
item
bad.
B. That's the local committees. Yeah.
Okay, my bad.
No, we're good. We have to look at them both, so you're just ahead of us, Merle.
I just clicked on the wrong thing. That's what I do. Really good.
We can go through this sort of individually and together, but I wonder if Cindy and Rachel could just say a little bit, or anyone else who's also on governance and has been reviewing the affiliate applications, what your kind of qualitative sense is of who's on this list right now for the most part.
Yeah, so it continues to be largely arts and culture organizations and some of the 250th local committees that have kind of formed their own individual organizations. It's been a mix of some that are just part of the town government and others that are kind of forming a separate entity for the 250th. There are a few businesses scattered around. I think one of the areas that we continue to not see a lot of is kind of those youth organizations. And I think part of it is just a little bit of difficulty in reaching them and or making the pitch for why they should be an affiliate. I don't think I think a lot of historical organizations and cultural organizations like being able to use the 250th logo and see that as a real advantage. And I don't think for other organizations it is as important. So I think that is the biggest sell that we have, and there's a particular group of folks who are interested in it. So yeah. Try not to go too fast because it makes me dizzy when we go too quickly.
And how many, could you remind us the number of affiliates that there are right now?
I want to say 185. We do have a meeting tomorrow and there's 12 more on the list. So we're almost 200.
Can I ask a question? I have a question and a piece of information that might be interesting. So the question is, did you have a goal when you started of how many organizations, or did you want one organization from each town? It's going back so far, I don't remember. I'm sorry.
So we didn't necessarily have a goal when we started. I think last year we decided that the goal would be 250 because it seemed fitting and it gives us around one per town, and some of the other, we know that some of the municipalities have multiple organizations that are interested.
Okay. So the piece of information, which is not to share, because it's not a thing yet, but there is some discussion that leads me to believe, how's this, that there may be, how's that? That is three qualifiers. Um, a small amount of money that would come either through to DCD, possibly to Connecticut Humanities. We're working behind the scenes on this really hard, to give out in small grants. And the proposal, in sort of very, very quiet conversations with Jason, has been we just granted out to municipalities. And but one of the sort of qualifiers is that the municipality has to be an America 250 Connecticut affiliate. So just to give you a little bit of a, if this happens, that I don't know how many, I see that there are, like I see Stamford as the city of Stamford, but that might get you to the over 250 mark, and show municipal support. It's kind of one of the things that we thought maybe would draw, bring a little attention to the fact that there are 250th things going on, because I don't understand this, but people still don't search Connecticut 250 and come up with the Connecticut 250 website, and they love to ask questions. And I don't understand people who don't go to their web browser first, but that's just me. So just I will keep everybody apprised. But Connecticut Humanities, if we can swing it your way without coming through the commission, without coming through DECD, but going right through the commission. It's what I will say is it's too little and it's quite late. However, it is. So there you go.
Thanks, Liz, for
All
that
good qualifiers.
qualified update.
I would add, if I could think of another qualifier, I would put it on, because
Yeah.
this is how
Right.
rumors start. But I'm I'm gonna go on the cautiously optimistic where I land on this. Cautiously optimistic.
Mhm.
What we really want to do is get the governor to put good to great bond funding that is still available on the list, and throw it out there, associated with like prep for the next 250 years, good to great, which would still work. Like, I think it would work beautifully. Wanted it last year, but I feel like it would still work. And we're trying to sell that rather than the very teeny amount of, project money, like
Right.
to administer. It just costs more to administer than it does, anything else, especially because now all grants of state money has to be reimbursable, basically. So, hi, buy your $1,000 worth of bunting, send us your receipts, and we'll send you $1,000. Like, kill me now. Like, it feels like a lot. So,
Kathy.
So in light of what Liz says, I think I'm a little bit confused, and maybe somebody can just explain it to me, and maybe you've talked about it in the past and I just wasn't listening. What is, I understand what the municipal contact list is, but I assumed all of the municipal contacts would be part of the affiliates. Why are only some of the municipalities in the affiliate list?
The affiliates requires an application, and it is still an easy application. I don't want to make it sound like it's hugely onerous, but it agrees to align with the values that the commission set forward for the 250th. While the local committee contact list does not necessarily put that level of alignment in place. The contact list is really just if you're in a municipality and doing 250th work and kind of heading up your local group, we want to make sure you're kept informed, while the affiliates is a little bit more of a we're aligned and working on this together. So that's kind of the difference between the two. There are a lot of municipal groups on here, like Christmastown 250 is Bethlehem's local committee. It is not their specific
Yeah,
holiday
I noticed it,
committee.
and that's why I was confused why it was some and not all. But I mean, I assume that all of the municipal contacts have been contacted with the opportunity to become an affiliate, so they're aware that there is that difference.
Yeah. But I do think if there were a bit more of a carrot, they would probably submit the application. I think for some of them, they've just kind of they're doing things, they listen to us, but are didn't see the value in filling out another application and aren't necessarily looking to co-brand with us. Because what I will say, the affiliates also have a America 250 Connecticut affiliate logo to use. So yeah. So I think I'm not, you all have this link, and I think there should be a flyer as well. But maybe it'd be helpful if we shared the link to the flyer. Because I think what is helpful is to think about who's not on here who might want to be, and sharing that flyer with them to get the information. It's harder to say who's not on here. It's easy to say who is on here. Oh, hey, Mo, sorry.
No problem. I was looking for the reaction thing. Are you looking specifically for types of organizations that are missing, like categories or class of organizations? I heard youth serving organizations. That perked my ears up to reach out to the team because they do a lot of work with young people in Connecticut. So I can have them, pass along whatever needs to be passed along for young people. Is that all that are you looking for? Like, what are you looking for?
I think that's the biggest category that I feel is just missing. I think there are probably more organizations doing work in the civics realm that we're not thinking about.
Okay.
And I don't even know where to begin with that. I'm looking, I know we have Glastonbury Pride and Glastonbury Martin Luther King Community Initiative, and I think both of those groups are a little more in like the civic sphere. I could be wrong. But I think other groups that are doing local organizing could be really good potential, especially as we're distributing information like the webinar for our next 250. But yeah. But the youth serving is one that I know we've reflected on in the past. And so that one sticks out to me.
Sorry, I
Yeah.
muted myself. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's helpful, and and with this flyer, I can also ask the team to share with their contacts that they're working with in building in right because they're actively recruiting people for this next to our next 50th, so they can share this information as well. Thank you.
And you guys will note the Manchester Republican Town Committee is on here. They reached out with interest and agreed that all of their programming around the 250th will be nonpartisan. And so, there are groups like that. There are, Democratic town committees and Republican town committees that are doing things, and we're encouraging, as long as it is nonpartisan and they say it will be, that is a-okay. And there are a couple of other qualifiers that we have, like, their programming needs to be ADA accessible and a couple of other things like that. So, yeah. I'll stop sharing. It's also very hard to share on the big screen, I'll be honest. Okay, great. Thanks, Rachel, for putting the flyer in there.
Did you have something else, Merle?
I just got some names. I just don't know what's on the list, but you can tell me Generation Citizen. I think it's already connected. But
I don't
there's Connect
know.
Kids, Hartford Votes, YWCA of Hartford. Yeah. Those are the ones that she just came back to me with. That's
Yeah.
4.
Yeah, and we don't have Generation Citizen. We have Bridgeport Generation now.
Okay, I'll let her know I passed them the flyers. I'll have them pass their partners the flyers. So they will
Awesome,
take
thank
care of
you.
that too. Okay, cool. We can at least help with young people because it is on our radar as well.
That's
And
great.
also, I don't know to what degree or how we're having the conversation with immigrant communities that may not be able to actively vote, but certainly can be civically engaged. We're working on a project in Hartford around and with immigrant communities as well. We'll be doing we're working towards an 18-month project with them. But what's that conversation? Like how are we framing that conversation? Are we even looking at groups that are working more with immigrant communities? I mean, granted, I know America's got a tough sell on this democracy business right now, but it's been a 400-year tough sell over here. So yeah, that part.
Exactly. So I think it's definitely been a conversation internally. I don't know that we have quite figured out what the external sell is. I know my conversations with people have generally been along the lines of, this anniversary is happening and I really want groups to make meaning of it in whatever the way they can make meaning of it for themselves is. And that is going to look very different depending on what the group is. And so that has kind of, in more individual conversations, that has been what I've encouraged people to do. And so I think when we're thinking about affiliates, we are looking to highlight them and whatever they are doing, however they are working on this. And I think some of our favorites are the situations that are a little different from exhibition at a museum looking at 250 years of American history. I think there's a lot of that, but whenever we can highlight something happening differently, a different interpretation on the 250th, those are some of the ones that have been the most interesting. And I'm saying this, and I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I know we've looked at other things. So it's not a great answer for you, but.
No, I mean, I have a sense of some of the things that you all have done, so don't worry. I trust you. Um, I do want us to, though, maybe just kind of think about, well, what we had a very good conversation. Wow, 2 years ago now? No, maybe 2 years ago. Now, when when we ask our indigenous siblings, what do you want to do with this?
Yeah.
And the resounding answer was, well, there ain't nothing we can do with this. I mean, that essentially, you know, I think to your point, wherever you sit in and point vantage point to look upon this story, you have that particular lens. But I don't think that we've talked very much about immigrant communities, and I think that we should probably lean more heavily into that conversation. Um, I don't think that we thought we would need to lean into them, as I think we were thinking, okay, it's a hard conversation with indigenous folks, right? And hard conversations with, folks who are still grappling with getting all of democracy's goodies, but I think we have an opportunity to lean into something really powerful and important to demonstrate that we're willing to grapple with our history and our framework, even in this moment, to have people be seen in this moment, right? And to experience democracy in a dignified manner in this conversation now, I think is important. People are being very mean right now, by the way. Really cool. Really cool.
And I can't think of, I'm sorry, I'm trying to think if there are any good examples of things that other states are doing right now tied to the 250th in particular. And I really can't think of anything that I can point at and say, I've heard of this or that really exciting project. I think most of the state commissions that are doing something are really tying into oral histories, more than anything else, which is good, but I think it feels a little less, I don't know, present day, responding to urgency, insert whatever.
Have we reached out to see if there are groups that are not on our list that would want to engage? I mean, I know that the groups are also overwhelmed by just trying to keep people safe,
Yeah.
But I don't know. We can ask.
Yeah, I
We can
think,
ask.
yeah. Just one second. I think we might not be live. Rachel has to sign off to pick up the child.
It looks like it's still going to YouTube, but it might not be recording.
Yeah, it looks like it's still going.
Okay.
You're the host. I think you re-designated the host, and it's still telling me it's being live streamed, so. Merle, are you thinking organizations like Iris, or I mean, is that the kind of video
Yeah, I
you're
mean,
thinking
those
of,
are
or-
some of the groups that have,
Yeah.
reached out, that has taken enough of a pause to say we need to have a conversation, right? So they're trying to engage us around how, right, how to have these conversations in this moment, in community. But I don't know how much bandwidth they have for commemorating anything, but I think it's worth asking if it is something that the commission thinks that, is an important audience. I mean, this whole business of kind of like getting this enterprise off the ground was like a whole immigration project, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we don't talk about it like that, but
yeah, I do think that generally, and no, I feel like we can say it. I don't think anyone on the commission is opposed to the idea of making sure we are reaching immigrant communities, given all of our group conversations leading up until now. So I don't think it is wrong to say that I think that makes a lot of sense. And I think in terms of thinking about how the 250th addresses the next 250 years, I do think right now is a great moment to think about what that means for immigrant communities and so much of, yeah. I'll just leave it. So I think if Iris would be willing to have that conversation, or if you have other ideas for organizations that we should be reaching out to think about that, I think definitely worth it.
I think my memory, Merle, from the beginning of this was like always a desired outcome, and then things changed, and it's true. I think what I think the default has been is it is extremely tricky to invite them in without calling them out, right? Showing attention that they exist, and that is the point to navigate. That's my memory of where we are now, which is not, it's not meant to be an excuse. It's just meant to be just a question of navigation.
well, and I think that no one. I mean, I haven't heard anyone say that we're trying to hide any of these audiences, right? Potential audiences, and that um, if we are right, then that means everybody. If it's everybody, everybody, right? And so that part I think seems solid. I think the question I really just wanted to confirm is if we're going to make a concerted effort to actually do the outreach that we desire, or just sort of like let it fall where it may, and then we're like, oh, where's everybody? Because you didn't invite them. A lot of times people just want to be asked, um, too, as a part of that. So yeah, I mean, I've asked the team to also look at potential groups to reach out to if they, if they intuit that they might be inclined to want to participate.
This is like a sidebar almost, but just some thoughts that are in my head right now. Actually, I was talking with my husband about this morning when we were talking about immigration, and I was thinking about naturalization ceremonies, citizenship ceremonies, and I had the privilege of being able to attend one when a friend of mine in college became a citizen. And these are wonderful, wonderful events. It was in Faneuil Hall, so it was like super amazing, and people from all over the world, and just really very moving. And I don't know like how you find out when and where these are happening, and that might have its own like difficult political valence at this moment in time, but I feel like, we were having a conversation at the breakfast table this morning about like, when it used to be Immigration and Naturalization Services, like, do you remember INS? Like, that was the agency, right? And the point was to help people become citizens, to naturalize them. And so I guess that's just something that's been kicking around in my head this morning. Um, I just did a quick search and it looks like, Mystic Seaport hosted a naturalization ceremony last summer. I wonder if this is something that, an idea that we can put out there, like for organizations that kind of want to think about the immigration thing. Like, do they offer their space? I don't even know where you'd begin to do this,
It's
but this is like, the sort of thing that's like an obviously lovely 250th sort of thing to do
This
that
is one of the things that's in the AASLH program
Yeah.
handbook for low
that's
cost
where I've seen it before
constructions.
too. Thanks, Scott. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's there. We've tried to reach out to all the relevant parties here in Connecticut, and we haven't been able to make inroads. I have no idea how to facilitate this, and it might just be that you have to follow up with them a lot more than we've had time to do. I'll also say that that might be part of it. Less just making a couple of emails and a couple of calls, but more concerted follow-up. Because we've also brought it up with organizations that are like, well, how do we do it? And we're like, sorry. So I
Cindy,
don't, yeah.
who do you need to talk to?
I think you're supposed to talk. The field guide, I think, has a thing. I think you have to reach out to the court in the district where the naturalization ceremony is going to occur.
That's the recommendation, but I know to Amaris's point, Mystic Seaport does it as an annual thing. It wasn't a one-time thing last summer. They've done it for a while. So if we're having
Liz
trouble
is saying
making
Old State
inroads,
House does it too.
either Old State House or Mystic Seaport can at least say how they got started with it and what they needed to do, because maybe there's either maybe the government is not as receptive to these kind of queries now as they were in the past, but if you've got an existing pathway, maybe they can circumvent the field guide recommendation.
What I will say is that the process for becoming a citizen has gotten way slowed down, and I think it's something like about half as many naturalization ceremonies are taking place right now.
Yeah, they slow walked everything. Oh, you heard that. Sorry. But they did. They just started slow walking everything.
Yeah. So I've heard that just in general, it's harder to get access to them right now because they're not taking place as often. But I can reach out to Sally and folks at Mystic Seaport and see if there's some kind of shortcut that we're just not aware of. And we can report back next month. I'm going to suggest that. What
Go
was
ahead.
that?
I was just
Um,
looking at the time and we've had a really nice conversation, but we have other things on the agenda. And I'm sure there's things you want us to do around local committees.
Well, I was actually going to say, I'm gonna put a pause on that because we're getting a lot of responses right now. We just did a mailing 2 weeks ago with the annual report for the 250th, and it's 2026. Hey, everybody. So we're getting a lot of responses. So I think that will be a better conversation for our next meeting because we will really have an idea of who is just not responding. We do plan to put in, or we plan to be at the Connecticut Library Association conference in April, May, April.
End of April.
Thank you. I said it confidently and then I questioned myself. If there are any other upcoming conferences or programs, I'll say we just got a phone call about the Central Tourism District is doing a day-long marketing the 250th event that they're hoping will present at. But if there are any other opportunities, I don't know, Amris, if you think we should be doing anything at the league. It might be that our next 250 is the best way to represent the commission at the league conference in June. But if you think that there's anything people are looking for in terms of 250th content, we can be there for that as well. But just more of a call for any other ways to participate.
Yeah. obviously the commission is welcome at our conference. It is very on on brand for this year's theme. So,
Yeah. I just know
and I
a
think
lot
one
of
of the things we're really looking to do, is showcase a lot of the work that's happening at different kinds of organizations, especially, sort of in the arts, at art museums, and what kind of interdisciplinary conversations the 250th can spark and what we can do with that moving forward, right? That's kind of the forward thinking side of this. So, I think that join one of our brainstorming sessions. We've got one tonight and one on Friday.
um, and if folks think of other conferences or programs we should be planning to have a presence at, let us know. I think it's really helpful for Rachel and I if you have any ideas for what would be helpful for whatever the conference is. I think we've been working with enough people that we can pull different folks in. But other than the spiel we've been sharing with like local committees and affiliate organizations, we definitely have to bring somebody in with us. And so that's when it's helpful to know what participants are looking for. Um,
Will the
and
commission have a presence at the event at Central next month?
we are planning to table. So I think,
See you there.
yeah, Rachel and I haven't quite figured out who's going to be where, but one of us will be there. So looking forward to that. So yeah, anything else like that?
The Connecticut
Something.
Digital Humanities Conference is also happening, it like overlaps with that. It's also happening at Central. It's like the Thursday and Friday. I think it'll be in the library, so just like the next building over. But Brian Matsky is the contact person there if you're interested in.
The only other thing I was just going to ask, and this is a question that maybe y'all can help me with. We're doing some work with libraries, and first with librarians. Now we're working with teen councils. And so we're going to be doing a big project with the DC Public Library in the summer with their teen council. Wondering, do you all know of any sort of statewide or region-wide teen councils affiliated with really any civic, but libraries, any kind of institutions or collective of institutions that are asking young people to have input on what they do and how they do it, or what have you. Young people doing participatory budgeting, doing any kind of philanthropy thing, like, like a donors choose, they have one for kids, that kind of stuff. I'm just curious if that, because that feels like an area that we could probably tap into around young people as well.
Off the top of my head, I'm not aware of anything at a statewide level, but I know that having teen advisory boards is a relatively common practice across public libraries, where teens do get that input in planning program, budgeting, just are really involved in enhancing their department at the library. So I know that that's relatively common practice. I don't think there's a statewide one, but some of the larger libraries, larger cities in the state, I would recommend checking with them. And if you need help getting in contact, I'd be happy to help you with that.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
In the last minute that remains, is there anything you wanted to say on the Great American State Fair?
Just that it is taking place June 25th to July 10th of 2026. Given some of the conversations we've had, I think Connecticut will have a presence, and we should have more information to share after this week. So I'll just leave it at that. But I think what I'll mention is that there will be a 30-foot by 30-foot pavilion in DC for each and every state. And so if folks have ideas for ways to represent the 250th in Connecticut, I think that's what would be helpful to get any ideas from you all.
Isn't Connecticut home of the WWF? Yes.
I think it is still headquartered here. Or the WWE, sorry.
Okay. Either way, get a little pavilion on the lawn.
Just like set up a fight.
I
think
hear they're into that. They're supposed to be a
Yeah, it sounds like a
WWF.
Freedom 250 thing.
Yes.
I know
Big
we're
fight.
joking, but I think they're literally doing that at the White House.
Yes.
Yeah, they are.
They are. That's
It's
why I'm like,
UFC,
guys,
it's not
yeah.
WWE, but yes,
Fair, very fair.
slightly different. Don't ask me how.
Different white Scotland.
Sure.
Who is in charge? So is the state commission in charge of the pavilion for each state? This 30 by 30? How does this work?
Yeah, how does it work?
There's still some questions, so I
Cindy, we're
It's your
information is
statement of the year, Cindy.
information comes rapidly with very short turnaround times. So we are still trying to figure out how this is going to work. And so that's why I think about it. Think about how 30 feet by 30 feet can be filled. But in terms of logistics and how this is all actually going to come together, there are bigger questions. So but we're 2 minutes over. I don't want to take more time than we've allotted, but really appreciate all your thoughts. And looking forward to our next meeting. I think as we're getting closer to the 250th, I think we're looking at every 6 weeks, if I remember correctly. So we will see you all again later in March. And I love the idea of new citizen parties, so we'll add it to kind of the list of ideas that we propose to local committees to consider.
And maybe residents, because everybody may not get to become a citizen or is on their ways. If we can be a little bit more expansive.
It's just
could be
tricky, right? Again,
Yeah.
tricky to be advertising that right now.
Yeah,
knowing what's
yeah,
going
of
on.
course.
I'm to get the people that you want to get.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm not against that. I think the idea is great. I'm just noting what we're hearing from even in Maine, right? And a little bit in Connecticut. And so it's an unfortunate overlap with the celebration or commemoration that we're trying to have.
Well, thank you all.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Great to
everybody.
see you, everyone.
Appreciate you. Take care.
To take care.